Hello there and welcome to my guide for painting Hulk for Marvel Zombies. As you can see, the first thing I've done is give them a spray with some matte white spray from Colourforge. I'm then going to start on his trousers with some Naggaroth Night, which I will wash with some Druchii Violet. While that wash dries, I'm going to start on Zombie Hulk's base with the AIM helmets, and for that I'm going to use some Avalanche Sunset. Now I won't be coming back for these guys for a while, but I thought I'd start now. These helmets will then get washed with some Kasandora Yellow. And once the wash on the trousers have dried, I'm then going to do a 50-50 mix of Naggaroth Night and Xurie's Purple for the first set of highlights. This will be followed by Xurie's Purple just by itself. And then a final highlight of Xurie's Purple mixed with Genestealer Purple at a 50-50 ratio. I'm going to go for a more natural look on Hulk, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Waa Flesh to paint all of his skin. This will then be given a wash with some Athonian Camo Shade. Once that wash is dried, we're going to relayer the Waa Flesh, avoiding all of the recesses. Then we'll do a 70-30 mix of Waa Flesh and Snarsik Green for this first set of highlights. And before we go any further, we're going to quickly do Hero Hulk's eyes, and we're going to use some Abaddon Black for that. Followed by Matte White. And finally Abaddon Black again to dot the pupil. For Zombie Hulk, we're going to use some Troll Slayer Orange, followed by some Fire Dragon Bright. With the eyes out of the way, we're going to start to relayer the skin again. So the next step is a 50-50 mix of Waa Flesh and Snarsik Green. This will be followed by the same mix but at a 30-70 ratio in favour of Snarsik Green. And then we're going to do a couple of coats of Skarsnik Green just by itself. The reason why we're going to do a couple of coats is because Snarsik Green is quite a light colour and we want the highlights to sort of be more emphasised. So for the second highlight, just focus on the areas where the light would catch more. So that's things like the very sort of peaks of the muscles, the knuckles, and sort of around the nose and cheeks and eyebrows. Next, I'll move on to Hulk's hair, and I'm going to paint it with some Abaddon Black. And to get a little bit of a green twinge to it, I'm going to add some Beltan Green Wash. I also want the main Hulk, the Hero Hulk, to be a little bit brighter than Zombie Hulk, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that Beltan Wash, I'm going to mix it with a little bit of Lahmian Medium, and then I'm going to cover all of Hero Hulk's skin with it, just to brighten up a little bit and give it a little bit more of a sort of brighter green pop. I'm then going to go to Zombie Hulk, and I'm going to use some Bugman's Glow to paint the inside of all the open wounds, which I'll then wash with some Carroburg Crimson. I'm also going to give all of those pustules and things like that a little bit of a wash as well, just to make them look extra sore. While that wash dries, I'll then move back to the hair, and I'm going to highlight it with some Corvus Black. Once the Carroburg Crimson has dried, I'm then going to use some Nurgling Green to start picking out the pustules on Hulk's flesh, followed by a 50-50 mix of Nurgling Green and Pallid Witch Flesh. To highlight the interior of the arms and such, I'll do a 50-50 mix of Bugman's Glow and Cadian Flesh Tone. And to make the wounds look a little bit sore, we'll do a 50-50 mix of Bugman's Glow and Nurgling Green just to run around the edges. I'll then paint that bone that's sticking out of his leg with some Morghast Bone, followed by a 50-50 mix of Morghast Bone and Wraithbone, and then finally a little highlight with Wraithbone on the very edges. For Zombie Hulk's tongue, I'm going to use some Pink Horror, and follow that up with a highlight of a 50-50 mix of Pink Horror and Matte White. I'll then highlight both Hero Hulk and Zombie Hulk's teeth with some Matte White. And with that, we can now move on to the bases. So I'm going to continue with the AIM helmets, and I'm going to highlight those with a 50-50 mix of Avalanche Sunset and Flash Gitz Yellow, followed by a second highlight of Flash Gitz Yellow just by itself. I'll then use Abaddon Black to paint their visors, along with the radiation symbol on Hero Hulk's base. The black will then get highlighted with some Corvus Black, and I'll paint the breathers on the AIM helmets with some Iron Warriors, along with all the other metal parts on the Hulks. That's the rebar, and there's the container for the radiation. I'll then use Dawnstone to paint the rest of the base. This can be kind of tricky because the way the model is sculpted, you will have to be extra careful when putting your brush between the things you've already painted. I'll then dry brush all that Dawnstone with some Grey Seer, and highlight the Iron Warriors with some Iron Hands Steel. Then I'll paint the rims of the bases black with some Abaddon Black, and then both bases will receive a wash with some watered down Agrax Earthshade. Now this step you can skip if you wish, as we're otherwise done, but I'm going to add a little bit of gore to my zombie Hulk using Blood for the Blood God. It's mostly around the face and those open wounds. And with that, that's both Hulks finished. I really do love these models. Come on, knocked out of the park as usual. I really like sort of the amount of damage that the zombie Thor has taken. It really sort of adds to the character of the model. These guys, obviously, because of their size, took longer to paint than the rest. They clocked in around about 6.5 hours for the pair. Overall, though, I had a lot of fun painting them, and I think they are going to look absolutely brilliant with the rest. If you follow this guide, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you enjoyed it, give the video a thumbs up, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much again for watching, and goodbye for now.